Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice. In today's video, I have the privilege of actually having an interview with a colleague and friend of mine, and I think it's very important you watch this video. I don't want to divulge any information. Watch this video to the end so you actually learn from his journey, his path, and what has helped him through his journey. I think it's really important. Just watch this video, you will thank me for it. Yep, let's get right into it. So Ikenna, thank you so much for joining me on the channel. I really, really appreciate it for taking time out of your busy schedule to actually join me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So the very first question I would like to ask. So I'm going to be asking you what your name is. Obviously, I've mentioned your name, but just introduce yourself properly and what you currently do, and if you can just give us a brief summary of your academic background from undergrad to masters, and just give us a brief summary.
Okay. My name is Ikenna.
Yeah.
You already know I'm from Nigeria. So, for my academic background, I schooled in Delta State University for my first degree, BSc Medical Biochemistry. After that, I did my master's in Nigeria, my first master's in Nigeria at University of Nigeria, Nsukka, same medical biochemistry. And while I was doing my second master's, I was working as a medical sales representative for one of the big pharma companies in Nigeria, indigenous pharma companies. And after a while, I thought it was time for me to chase my biotech career outside Nigeria. And that prompted me to pursue my second master's degree in the UK at University of Salford, where I met you. And I'll say it's been a massive improvement in my career. And currently, I work as a genetic technologist in the NHS.
All right.
That's my brief.
Okay,
And
thank you so much. So, second question I have for you now is, so I know you
mhm.
worked in Nigeria. How do
Yeah,
you think your experience, actually the experience you've gained over the years, has actually kind of helped you to get to the point where you are? And since you started with biochemistry, medical biochemistry, then your experience
yeah,
as a sales rep, did you think
yeah.
it, do you think it actually made a huge impact on like your current role, where you currently are?
Yeah, absolutely. Made a significant impact. Before people used to see I'll say people see degree because it is within a particular field. But I want people to understand it's no longer what your degree is. It's no longer what you studied. It's about how you are going to use what you studied to get to that opportunity or to maximize an opportunity in front of you. I remember after my NYC, a friend of mine asked me, okay, you studied medical biochemistry. Do you consider yourself a perfect fit as a medical representative? That was the very first time I heard about medical representative. So I looked this up. It's more like you acting as a salesperson between a link between healthcare professionals and pharmaceutical companies. And what do you basically do? You apply your knowledge of science, your knowledge of biochemistry to sell pharmaceuticals. So that was when I told myself, okay, if I because I couldn't get a lab-based role, this is also an opportunity for me to use my biochemistry background to sell pharmaceuticals. So you see, I wasn't too rigid. Oh, I must go into the lab. This is what I'm called for. No, so I had to remind myself it is what you do with your degree, it is what you do with your experience that matters, and not really what your experience or degrees are known for. So I took up that role as a salesperson, and I would say it was a wonderful sales career for me. I had no prior professional sales experience. But in life, there is always an opportunity for you to maximize. So I took that as a challenge, and I'm happy. Looking back, I would say being a salesperson is you're as good at developing every skills needed in career, the communication, when it comes to presentation, is it listening, is it teamwork, is it you being flexible, is it you being organized, these soft skills as a salesperson I built it and I was able to master those things. Then coming into the UK and use my current role, those skills I mentioned, they are still very much relevant. You can't do all the lab roles alone, lab duties alone. You need to communicate. You need to work with a team. You need to organize your time. You need to manage. You need to organize your task, manage your time. These things, we are not born with them. We acquire them, we learn, we improve as we grow. And those experiences we get in our previous job we were doing, definitely they are very much important. So I would say those skills, those experiences, they played a significant role in my current job. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned something, and I'm going to build on that. So, what do you think about the myth about, people always feel like if you're not a doctor, like any other profession, everyone is always trying to enter the lab. Like, I've had
Yeah.
people who are doing microbiology or biochemistry reach out to me and I want to do HCPC registration, I want to work in the lab. And I'm like, many of us, we don't know that, there are roles even in the NHS or within the health sector that's actually outside the lab. Like,
Yeah.
so do you want to build on that in the sense of roles being outside the lab for other people? Like, even for biomedical scientists, I tell people that, oh, there are roles outside the lab. But I feel like
Yeah.
maybe because there's no so much exposure about, roles that actually like, oh, you don't have to be a biomedical scientist to work in the lab. And there are people that even work like quality section and other areas, other
Yeah.
roles that might
Yeah.
even be lab based, but many people do not know about that. So do you just want to touch on that?
Yeah. I know there is always this misconception that, because you're in biomed science, because you studied a course that is laboratory related, you must work in the lab. Forgetting that there are so many opportunities out there. Like you mentioned, you can be a medical liaison officer, you can be a quality assurance officer, you can be a regulatory affairs associate. There are so many things. That was why I said it's not about what you studied. It's about you deliberately looking for the link between what you studied and what is applicable out there. If you decide to go into the quality regulatory aspect of it, it's about you. You already have the knowledge in your field. It's how those knowledge can be used in the regulatory environment. If you're, let's say, for instance, now, if you want to go into the business aspect of it, when it comes to pharmaceutical sales or biotech sales or medical related sales, first is how good is your knowledge? Because it's with the knowledge you have, with your experience within the lab or what you've done before, that you can use to speak to clients, that you can use to speak to business partners. So if you don't have that knowledge, it's going to be very difficult. You already have the knowledge, so you can build on it and look for the link between what you already have to opportunities out there. So I think people should look outside the lab environment. Yes, that probably because that's what they've known. That has always been the norm. Or there are so many opportunities that you might not necessarily need a license for all these roles that I mentioned. Yeah, like for instance, I study biotechnology, but I'm working in the lab, genetic lab within the NHS. So, when it comes to this field, you won't just have to acknowledge the fact that, yes, you might think license is needed, but deep down, interact with people who are already working within that environment. You'll get to find out, oh, they don't even have that license. Because so many firms, they are willing to accept you. Then with time, if there's any license for you to get, then they will support you to get the license. Now, working as a genetic technologist is what we call the Association for Healthcare Scientists, something license related. You can come in as a competency-based training I'm currently doing. And that training is based on my role in the lab. Every single analysis I carry out, every single protocol I do, there is a sheet for me I fill out. And that makes up my competency-based training. And with that competency-based training form, I can now apply for the license. So you necessarily do not need the license to come in. Though there are some some jobs that will tell you, oh, you must get this license. It is understandable because of the level the job is. Or most times, you just have to look out for those applications. They are even stated you might not be licensed, but you are looking forward to doing it.
Yeah.
So that gives you that gap that you don't have to worry so much about getting the license at that point in time. So just go in, you discover, oh, you can actually, with time, work towards getting the license. So, in conclusion, say don't allow the license deter you. The most important thing is what you do with your knowledge and experience and how you find the link between the opportunities out there. Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you so much. And now, a very important question: how was your
Mm.
job like? I know you once you finished your masters. How was your like a job hunting to getting a job? Like, how was the process like for you?
Oh, the process just like every other person who is looking for job. See, the unfortunate emails will come.
Mm,
They will come
mm,
because there is the competition is always there. And fine. I started applying for jobs from my second trimester. That was January 2023. Even before I graduated in August 2023. You know why? I keep telling people, see, I started applying so I could get used to the unfortunate emails. I
mm,
knew they were going to come. I knew they were going to come. And the more unfortunate emails you get, you need to you ask yourself these questions: What am I doing right? What am I not doing right? Where should I improve? Where should I need more guidance? Because if you are applying for jobs and you are getting unfortunate emails, it simply means your CV is not okay. Then if you're applying for jobs, you're getting interview calls and you're not getting the job, that means your interview presentation and how you handle the interview need a certain level of improvement. So people need to understand your CV doesn't really give you the job. The CV only gets you an interview. An interview gets you the job. So people shouldn't write their CV in such a way that we understand it's along the process of getting the job, but you need to be invited for an interview before you can now talk to them what you really are, who you really are, what you can do for them to give you the job. So I wasn't getting the interview calls. First thing I did was to ask myself these questions. Why am I not being called for an interview? I know I'm good enough. What are the skills they are looking for? So I looked at LinkedIn, searched for the roles, saw people who are currently doing the roles. I looked at their job responsibilities, and I discovered they have certain skills in common. Within the molecular biology space, there are certain skills, techniques that you should have. They are more like the basics. I had some of them, so I had to work towards adding those skills I didn't have. And that was one thing that influenced my MSc project. I needed a project that would give me that opportunity to work within molecular biology core area, talk about microRNAs, RNAs, DNA extraction, PCR, RT-PCR, and all of that. So I could equip myself and build on my already had skills at that time. So one other thing I did was I booked several appointments with the career department in school because they are waiting for you to come. Just go meet them. They're always willing, always willing to assist you because they have the professional guidance which they are willing to give you. And after that, I saw a significant improvement. I was getting interviews, then I wasn't getting the job. So that took me to the next stage. Why was I not getting the job? And that was when I discovered something. Initially, I was approaching the interview from the aspect of, yes, I can do the job. I need to prove to them that, yes, I can do the job, which was wonderful. Why proving to them that you can do the job? Do you also prove to them that you are someone they can work with? If the person interviewing you is quite lively, professionally sociable, if I should put it that way, not so uptight, then why are you right in front of that person? You are so tight, you're so serious, as if you're going for a battle. Let the mood of the person interviewing you be a guide for you. If you walk into the room and the person is lively, sociable, come on, you have to come to that level with that person. Be sociable, have that conversation with the person. If you walk into the interview room and the person is so uptight, serious, yes, you also have to be serious at that. So you need to match the energy of the person interviewing you. So those are the things I put in place, and I was very happy that it worked out for me. And I got my first role in the industry as a lab technician for a company in Cambridge that actually manufactures synthetic DNA. And I would say that was a turning point for me. And after 6 months with them, I used that experience. Definitely 6 months within the industry, one has to improve, like significantly. You can't be the same way you walked into the company and you're living. No, there should be significant improvement. And it has to be something that you should be deliberate about. You're doing your role, yes, but are you improving as a person? So after 6 months, I was able to use my experience, and now I'm in the NHS as a genetic technology. It wasn't easy, I would say. At the same time, it's not too hard. It's just for you to know what to do, when to adjust, and who to meet for guidance. And I believe this is something your platform is for, to guide people. Yeah, and I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Thank you. Okay, so another thing I would like to ask you. So, what would you say was your greatest challenge? So, in terms of the transition from like Nigeria, and I think both academically and then professionally, it would be nice if you could kind of draw more on the professional aspect. But what would you think was your like biggest challenge in terms of the transition?
Yeah, my greatest challenge was, not having that laboratory experience from Nigeria. Yeah, we all had the theoretical basis, the principles. Yeah, we understand how it works, but that hands-on experience, it was my missing gap. And I discovered that even a few months I came into the UK, because I already had in mind what I wanted to do. This is the career path I have. So what are the skills that I was missing at that point in time? So the laboratory experience was not there. And that was why I took those lab classes seriously then in my master's. Because since I knew they were going to bridge certain gaps in pursuit of my career, so why not putting so much effort into it? So that was basically the challenge I had. And in life, when you put in so much effort towards correcting or bridging certain gaps, and I believe with God, you definitely get what you want. And I'll say that's something that I am a living testimony for it, yes, because I knew those challenges. You can't just sit back for it to fix itself. I had to put that effort. So the hands-on laboratory experience was my huge challenge. And I'm glad I communicated with my tutors in school, and they acknowledged it, that yes, most people coming from our region, we know the basics, we know the principles, we know the theoretical aspect of it, but the lab experience was missing, and they helped us bridge that gap. And so that was the challenge for me.
All right, thank you so much. So, what would be your advice? Because I think recently, in recent times, I've had a large number of people who did not do maybe med lab in Nigeria or from other countries.
Okay.
And I feel like there's this so much pressure to like get into do their HCPC registration, because they feel like, that's the way out. And now HCPC registration for people that wouldn't do med lab, they have to go through IBMS and all that.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is way tougher, especially like coming as immigrant and knowing that you don't have visa and all that stuff. What would you advise people who are not like med lab? Maybe they did biochemistry, microbiology, and they're in this country, maybe they're running biomedical science or something else, and they are kind of looking for a career path or just a path to just get into the workforce. What would be your advice for them?
Yeah, my advice is simple: be flexible. Be flexible. Don't be rigid with what you want to do. And how do I mean? I'll give you this example. Yeah, I wanted to be within the sales environment. I already made up my mind, I want to go into biotech sales. I want to be this, I want to be that. Or the opportunities that came for me were leading me to the lab. So will I say because it is not what I want. Let me not go for it. So I took those opportunities. So because if you're flexible, you can recognize opportunities better than when you're rigid with what you want. Yes, it's okay to pursue what you want. You want to be in the lab. You can actually chase those things together. You're working towards getting the necessary license and registration. At the same time, you are working towards other roles that does not need those registrations at that point in time. Like I said initially, there are roles that you can see, you can start and build towards getting your registration. So I think being flexible is one of it. And another thing I would love to add is yes, you maybe the person they've made up their mind they want to work in the lab and stuff like that. Or like I said, when you're flexible, you tend to identify opportunities better by chasing what you want to do. And one other advice is you look for people who are already doing what you want to do. Have conversations with them because they are more experienced, they are more vast in knowledge. They must have experience or know someone who who experienced your current challenge. So they have an idea of how to navigate with them, interact with them, and let them know this is what you want to do, and this is the challenge you're facing. Believe me, they might be willing to help at that point in time, or direct you to someone who can help you. So because you are at the early phase of your career, you need mentors who will guide you. You need mentors who have been there and they know it can be difficult. So reach out to them. I'll say those are the two pieces of advice I want to give.
Okay. Last question. So what would be your advice to, we all know, like you said, you started applying in January and you got your job, like you saw the gap, like the months you spent
Mm-hmm.
actually applying. So what would you advise those people who are currently in that phase of application? Because I have a lot of people reaching out to me and like, I'm applying, I don't know, I'm tired. I've been applying for 3 months, no interview, and I'm like, since that we've been there, and I know it can be tough, but what would you advise those people who are currently, in that phase of applying and multiple applications?
The advice I would give is this: um, don't give up. It's easier said than done. But during my journey when I was applying, I told myself that, hey, if I don't apply, I was 100% sure that I will not get the job. But if I apply, there are certain probabilities that I'll get the interview and I'll get the job. So the unfortunate mails, they kept coming. Even while complaining to a friend, both of us received unfortunate emails and we both laughed about it. So it is about how you handle those situations. It's about you telling yourself, this is not time to give up. I just shared my story with you. I started applying in January and I got my job in November, October. That was when I got the offer. And you know what? Don't wait till at the end of your studies to start applying. That's the mistake most people make. Because at the end of your studies, you no longer have anything to keep you busy. You are now focused on when am I getting a job to be more busy or for you to have a lot of things to do. I started applying in January, though I had so many activities in school. And the unfortunate, they came, but I was busy with my studies. So it kind of like shifted my attention from the unfortunate to what I was doing at that point in time. Now, compared to if I had nothing to divert my attention from the unfortunate, it's going to hit me hard, so hard. So while I was still active in my studies, I was also active applying for jobs. So you have to keep applying. I told myself, if I get 10 unfortunate, I'll increase my application to 20. If I get 20 unfortunate, I increase my application to 40. See, there's this thing, they say now, who give up? Now you try. Oh, you just have to. It's not easy. It's not easy, but you need to build on your mental capacity. Do you have people around you that you get to talk to for them to give you that moral boost? I have people around me. I have friends who we both shared our unfortunate stories together. At the end of it, we also advised ourselves we're not giving up. Look for someone who is willing to laugh away your unfortunate with you, someone who is going to motivate you that say it is just the early phase of your career. Early phase is tough. And you know one beautiful thing about this? Only 1 year will change everything.
Sure.
Only 1 year. Trust me, only 1 year will change everything. And once you get that yes and you're happy, you'll be happy giving other people unfortunate. In the sense that people will approach you, oh, there's this role, I want you to come to
Nah,
our company.
nah.
You will tell them that I'm happy where I am. I'll say, oh, I'm afraid I can't join your company for now. You're giving back unfortunately. But before you get to that stage, you just don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Look for someone who you can. There are days that I see job openings. I'll say myself, no, I'm not applying. I need to take a break. It is
Mm.
valid. It is understandable. You are human. When you keep getting unfortunate, you need to take a break and just get your mind off it. But it is better for you to submit a quality application than for you to submit quantity application.
Mm.
So just take a break. That break, within that break, you ask yourself, what are you not doing right? What are you doing wrongly? And now you are also communicating with people for you to have a better idea on how to approach it. Don't be too hard on yourself. That's one other thing. Don't be too hard on yourself. While you are applying to those jobs, you should also look for ways to improve, look for ways to build more skills, look for opportunities where you can use your skills. Alice, both of us were in the Master's Society,
Yeah.
and Tao was a platform that improved my communication, my corporate social responsibility, the stuff we did at Albion
Yeah.
Academy, and
Working
all of
with
it.
people and speaking.
Those things, and also there are times I just look out for. I search on events like if there are seminars within genomics, because the role I do now is within genomics. I attended those seminars, attended webinars, got certificate from them. Those were the things that helped me get this current role. It shows you are willing to self-develop. That's self-development. It shows passion. It shows you can give what it takes to improve your current status. And you want to improve your knowledge so you can be able to have an edge over other people. The competition is fierce. It's always tight. So you need to look out for things that will improve you and give you an edge. It sounds easy the way I'm putting it,
Yeah.
but in practice, it is tough. I'll say back to the first question you asked me about your experience in Nigeria and here. As a salesman, we had so many disappointment was part of our job. You meet a client and they tell you, no, I don't want to buy from you. We've gotten someone else. Go. Those that will say it calmly and those that will say it in a very derogatory manner. So it became part of my life. Yes. If you give me any form of disappointment, I'll just say, okay, fine, not my time. I move on to the next. So I'll say that is also part of my life because my sales experience played a very significant role in my life. So it sounds easy, but trust me, it is not that difficult also. Oh, that's it.
Yeah, thank you so so much for your words of wisdom. I really really
You're
appreciated them and
welcome.
your advice, and I
You're
hope
welcome.
it helps people or anyone who's
Yeah,
actually out there at this point in time, just looking for direction in one way or the other. So
okay.
lastly, are you open to people reaching out to you, maybe on LinkedIn or something, just in case people have
Yeah,
questions that they
yeah,
kind of want to follow up?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I might not reply or respond instantly. But I'll do my best to not leave your message unread or unattended. So
All
I'll
right.
do my best.
Thank you so much
All
for
right.
that. Thanks
All
so
right, you're
much,
welcome,
Ikenna,
Alice.
for your
You're
time
welcome.
today. I really do appreciate. Thank you so much, my
You're
subscribers.
welcome.
Thank you. I thank you the more. Thank you
You're
so
always
much.
welcome.
Thank you so
Always
much.
welcome. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and that comes to the end of the interview.
All right.
If you watched this video to this point, thank you so much. If you have any question, please pop them in the comment section. I'll be sure to try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you want to reach out to Ikenna, please, I'm going to leave his LinkedIn profile in the description so you can send him a message, and when he can, is going to respond to you. Thank you so much. Till I come your way again in another video. Bye.